Is there any such thing as a self-made man? George Matthew Adams says, no, there is no such thing as a self-made man. He says we are made up of thousands of others. There are so many people who have been a part of our journey in one way or the other, be it in big or in little ways. And I've said it in about 2 or 3 of my videos that even the toughest, even the strongest ones on this journey of life will at some point need a shoulder to cry on. And so if we're going to grow from height to height, we'll have to make room for others through healthy connections. But before you run out there to look for these connections, it's important that you ask yourself 4 questions. In this video, I'll be sharing with you what these 4 important questions are, so don't go away. First question, why do I need to connect with others? When you know the important role that connections play in your life, you'll be more intentional about seeking healthy connections. And I think I already started answering this in the introduction. And there's so many other reasons, but we can sum it all up into these 2 main reasons: that as human beings, we need support and we need guidance. And I'll even add that we equally need to support and guide others. It's unfortunate that we often shy away from things that have to do with support, help, because for some reason we equate it to weakness. Oh, I need help, I need support. Nobody wants to sound so helpless and so needy, and so we shy away from it. But let me tell you, the step-by-step guidance that you get does not make you weak. It only goes to make you stronger. That emotional, physical, financial, spiritual support and guidance that you are getting only goes to make you stronger. So please do not be afraid to seek help and guidance and support. I actually have a 2-part video that I made on asking for help. I even shared with you important questions you should also ask even before you go asking for help. I'm going to leave that video in the description box below, and I really recommend that you should watch it when you're done with this video of today. Do not be afraid to seek for help, support, guidance, and also please do not shy away from being a helper and a support to others. Now note that support comes in different forms, which leads us to our second question: what type of connections do I need? Who should I be networking with? And in order for you to effectively answer this question, you may have to go back to the first video in this mini series that I've been doing on making room for personal growth and development. If you haven't watched part 1 and 2, I'm going to leave the link in the description box below. I really encourage you to watch it when you're done with this one. But if you have been following this mini series, then you will remember that I had said in the very first video that the first step in making room for growth is to identify what areas in your life need growth and to be specific about it. When you identify these areas in your life, suddenly you'll realize that you need support and you need guidance in order to grow in those areas. But even more is that it will be clearer to you what type of support, what type of help you need, because you've identified the specific areas. And now when you know the type of support, the type of help that you need, it will help you to clearly define the type of connections you should be making. Unfortunately, we often do it in the reverse order. We just run out there, sign up for everything, bring all kind of people in our lives before we even start asking, why am I in this relationship? Why am I having these friends? Why am I in this group? Why am I connected to all these people? And then suddenly human relationships and connections and networking, that is meant to be a beautiful thing that brings support and guidance and also gives you an opportunity to pour into the lives of others, now becomes the reason why we are so stressed out, we are so worked up. When I started on this growth journey, which I'm so happy a lot of you have come over and joined me on this journey, and just like we're talking about connection and growing together, it's just much more beautiful and supportive when we grow together. By the way, if you are new here and you haven't joined this beautiful family of bloomers, then please click that subscribe button, come over and join us on this journey. We're on a journey moving away from that place of feeling stuck over to where we bloom and flourish in our everyday lives, and we're doing so God's way. Yeah, so at that beginning, after I had identified the specific areas in my life that needed growth in that season, in that month, I knew I was going to need support, a lot of guidance and counsel, and so I began to seek such connections, and seeking these connections at different levels, connections that were meant to just give me a shoulder on which to cry on when the going gets tough, connections that were meant to give me the step-by-step guidance on what to do in order to grow in those areas that I had identified. Connections that were meant to just bring in some fun and laughter in my life when things get so serious. Connections that had to do with a good rebuke, somebody who can look at you in the face and tell you when you're going the wrong way. Connections that also had to do with motivation. Zig Ziglar says that a lot of people say, oh, motivation is useless, it doesn't last. And he tells them that bathing doesn't last either, and that's why it's required daily. I have experienced the motivation, and so I do not underestimate the power of a good motivation. Sometimes you have the tools, you have the knowledge, you have everything, but you need that extra boost, you need that push, to carry all those things out and get to that place where you are growing, you're blooming, you're flourishing in your everyday life. So please seek these connections in the specific area of growth, but do so at different levels. Question number 3, for how long should I keep these connections? This is a challenging one because many times we easily let go relationships, connections that are meant for a lifetime, but then we tend to hold on to the ones that are meant for a season. And I get it, it can be very challenging to let go, even of a seasonal relationship, especially for those who pour their heart and their soul into their connections. I say this because we live in a time where a lot of friendships, relationships are very superficial. They're centered around a lot of selfishness, what I'm going to gain, and because they're so shallow, people also find it very easy to let go, right? I didn't put much into it, and so I can easily let go. But when people connect with others from their hearts, when they invest in their connections, it can be very difficult to let go even when it's time to do so. And that is why a lot of growth and maturity is needed at that time, a lot of discernment, and even knowing, going back to why that connection happened in the first place. Now let me clarify something as I conclude on this point. Many times when we hear that certain relationships or friendships or connections are seasonal, we quickly jump on that as an excuse to go out there and delete all the friendships or connections we have in our lives that are not going the way we want, or at the moment are going through a lot of problems. The fact that you are going through challenges with your connections at the moment does not necessarily mean that, one, it is a seasonal relationship or connection. 2, even if it is a seasonal relationship or connection, it does not necessarily mean that it has come to its point of, termination. It could just be a challenging season that you have to go through, learn from it, and it's going to bring about growth. Final question, am I connected to the vine? I always save the best for last. John 15:5 says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Now, Jesus is talking here about a fruitful Christian life, blooming and flourishing God's way. And the fruit he's referring to here is the fruit of the Spirit, which we see in Galatians 6. Love, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness, long-suffering. We need all of this for effective ministry. Many times we are after too many things, and we think that is really what we need. What we're really chasing after is that joy, is that peace, is that gentleness, it is that self-control that we are after. The divine connection to the vine is what will help us to bear this fruit, as we have seen here, because apart from him we can do nothing. So as we make room for growth, let's make room for others through healthy connections, and above all, let's make room for God.